Well, it wasn't graceful, but I made it over. Hello everyone, Republic Jim here. I'm back in the barn for another training session and just wanted to give a quick talk about fitness for preparedness, which, as I've said in previous videos, is my purpose for training. And just to be totally clear, my primary purpose for training is just for health. For me, overall health is the most important thing, and obviously some of that I can achieve just by losing some more weight, which is done mainly in the kitchen, not in the gym. But the stuff that I do in the gym, I try to also support that main goal. Let's face it, I'm not getting any younger. In fact, in a few months now, I will be turning 58. So I'm looking to hold off the effects of aging as long as possible. I want to maintain a strong, healthy heart and lungs, maintain a decent amount of muscularity and strength, have good balance, flexibility, and those sorts of things, just so I'll have a better quality of life as I get older and hopefully won't decline physically too quickly. But aside from that, I'm the vice president of our combined search and rescue and community emergency response team. So, and if you've watched many of my videos in the past, you probably know that I'm pretty into emergency preparedness. So I always like to try to train to be ready to respond to any sort of emergency or disaster or whatever, and be able to handle the physical challenges of that. So they're quite a bit different from the things that most people are training for in the gym. I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm not a power lifter, and or a CrossFitter or whatever. I'm not looking to compete in anything. I just want to be ready for the worst case scenarios in life. So with that said, I need to do some ramp up sets with my workout and get ready for the working sets, and I'll need to reposition the camera, and I'll get back to you as soon as I'm done with that. Okay, I'm finally back and ready to roll. First thing I should note before anybody feels the need to tell me is that I know I'm doing things wrong bringing the bar out of the squat rack. The correct way to do it is to back out of the rack so that when you're tired, you're re-racking it going forward. It's dangerous to do it the way I do. I encourage everybody to not do that, but to do it the correct way. But I am aware of the hazards of doing it that way, and I choose to accept that and continue to do it anyway. So just ignore my ignoring safety. And as I say, I encourage everyone to do it the correct and safe way. That said, I also want to mention that my injured knee is finally getting back almost to normal. Still a little bit of pain when I walk or when I bend it, but after a little over 3 months, I'm finally able to just about squat to depth without any serious pain. So I'm still going lighter and for higher reps to rehab that. So as I said, I train more for preparedness. I'm not into bodybuilding, and that's not to disparage anyone who is. If that's what you want to do, go for it. That's cool. But for me, I don't care about building some impressive looking physique. For the things that I need to be ready to do, it doesn't necessarily help to have huge amounts of muscle that is just going to make me heavier and give me troubles with doing some of those tasks. Also, as far as powerlifting. I'm never going to compete. I don't need to have that absolute maximal strength. The numbers that those guys do is really mind-boggling, but for realistically the types of things I need to move, I don't need to be that strong. And it also doesn't do me much good if I gas out after picking up 2 or 3 heavy things. Anybody that thinks anything over 5 reps is high rep, that doesn't really cut it in a disaster situation. You need to have that work capacity to keep picking up heavy things and moving constantly, or carry a heavy pack for long distances without getting all winded, run up and down stairs, climb over obstacles, all that sort of stuff. So in general, that's the sort of thing that I'm training for, is just a decent amount of muscle and strength, but also flexibility and balance and just good endurance. Still need a lot of work on the cardio, but I'm getting there. So anyway, so I'm gonna be doing tri-sets that don't necessarily go together, but they're working on different things that I need to improve. I'm gonna be doing push presses into double rope pull-ups and then high rep squats. And I'm pretty weak on overhead, so I'm going with a lighter weight here and working on push presses because I want to go a little bit heavier than I would be able to do with strict presses, and also work a little bit on explosiveness. So that's what I'm doing today. I try to keep the rest periods pretty brief so I can work on that work capacity. So as you can see, that backing the bar into the rack under fatigue is definitely a high risk spot there. So as I was saying, those are the big areas that are important to me to improve on. And although I'm primarily using a barbell today, and of course the ropes, I actually mix up the implements in my training quite a bit, and a fair amount of the training I do incorporates strongman style, picking up sandbags and other odd objects, rocks and logs and things like that, pushing wheelbarrows, pulling sleds. I've got my homemade farmer's handles. I can either load those up really heavy and do short distances, or go lighter and work on carrying them for distance. I also do a fair amount of pull-ups on, the ropes and the rings and the bar, kind of mix it up, and also do just static hangs from any of those just to work on my grip. And I occasionally throw in some elements of parkour, doing vaults over objects or scrambling over walls, or things like wall dips and work on the bar, trying to improve on the pullover like I did at the start. Obviously, pretty clumsy right now. I need to improve both my upper body pulling power and also increase my core strength a little more so I can get all the way over the bar and rotate around to a support position. And then I also work a fair amount on explosive movements, even though I'm really, really slow twitch dominant. I'm much better naturally at endurance than doing anything explosively, which is why like I said, I like to do push presses sometimes, and also do other lifts as quickly as possible at times. When my knee is healthy, I do sprints and jumps, depth jumps and standing long jumps and hops and things like that, and also do slams and throws with different weights of rocks. So pretty good mix of all sorts of different stuff and different implements. It rarely gets boring. Does get hard sometimes, but that's just the nature of training for preparedness, because I just assume that if everything hits the fan, nothing about it will be easy. So being psychologically prepared for fatigue and pain makes it easier to handle if that time comes. And of course, that's also part of the reason for training in all sorts of temperature extremes and barefoot and shirtless and such, because all of that just toughens me physically and mentally, and I know that I can perform under some fairly uncomfortable conditions. So, really, that's about all I have to say on the topic. And I have one more set to do, but obviously I'm going to need a little bit longer rest period this time. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to keep training for can't even talk now. I'm going to keep training for preparedness. I encourage anybody else that's interested to do the same sort of thing. Set your own goals and be prepared for the worst. Hope for the best, but keep that body healthy. This has been Republic Jim. I'll talk to you later.